Let me give you a good idea as to how trying to interpret a vision or a dream works. Sometimes it's very vague, and when you really think about the instances and the details of the dream, you start to see the reasons behind it, the people who are probably involved, or what it's really about. Last night, I had a dream that I had been asked to be the maid of honor in a wedding. And during this whole process, I felt good about myself. I liked what I was wearing. I felt like I was important. I was very honored to have been asked. And at one point, I was even handed a microphone and told that while everybody is going inside the wedding, that I should have a moment to tell them something very deep and personal and emotionally relevant, or not relevant, but something that had happened to me, because that would make me appear more relatable and important as this maid of honor at this wedding. And this wedding, the thing that I did find odd was the wedding was of a friend of mine that I had known when I was in high school, but I really wasn't close to and am still friendly with. But it just seemed kind of weird that I would have been asked to have been maid of honor at a wedding for somebody like this. And I knew there were other people in her life that she could have asked, and she didn't ask them. She asked me, and I didn't know why. So I took this microphone, and while everybody else was starting to walk in, I sat there waiting for my turn, and I was given this go ahead and said, tell them something deeply personal and they will relate to you. So I said, okay. So I actually told them that there had been a time in my life that I had been sexually assaulted and thought that it was going to make me relatable. And then I handed back the microphone and I go to walk in and go walk down the aisle. And I'm told, oh, wait, no, that bouquet is actually not yours to carry. You're not, you need to just hand this bouquet over to somebody else. And that's going to actually go to the bride. The bride's going to get that. I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. I don't mind giving that to the bride. And then I go in the door and they're like, well, where am I supposed to sit? Like, where am I supposed to go down the aisle? Oh, no, you don't have to walk down the aisle. Just follow this large group of people. You're going to go and sit on the side with everybody else. Okay, that's a little bit weird. And so I go and I actually ended up climbing up these stairs to this like stadium seating kind of thing, which was really weird. I'm like, but I thought that I was the maid of honor. And I didn't make any sense. And then I saw the bride's sister, and she was sitting down with the rest of the family. And I was like, oh, am I supposed to sit here? And she's like, no, you're supposed to like follow the rest of those over there. And then I saw this other mutual friend who was closer to her in high school. And she wasn't a maid of honor either. She wasn't a bridesmaid or anything, but she was the one who was pulling all the strings and was keeping a low profile, but was the one who was directing all of the traffic and telling everyone where they needed to be and where they needed to go and what was going on. And I was like, well, you're actually acting like the maid of honor and you're not. And I'm surprised you're not. I kind of thought that you would be, but what am I then? Like, why am I even here? And I felt like I was being used. I felt like I was a figurehead. I felt like this personal thing that I had said, or this thing that was embarrassing to me, had been announced to this entire congregation of people waiting for a wedding. And it was only for the purpose of drawing attention away from this other stuff that was going on. And it was meant to embarrass me. And it was released out to this huge public audience to embarrass me. And all of a sudden, I was mortified. All of a sudden, I was trying to find a seat quietly in the corner. I wanted to get out of the room. I thought that my friend had my best interest, and she didn't. And then I realized that it wasn't even really a wedding. It was more of a, she was already married at that point in my dream. She was already married. This was all for show. And she wasn't even with the guy. Like, they weren't even a couple. Like, this was all fake. All of it was fake. It was being orchestrated by this other friend. And I was used as a figurehead and put out there to be embarrassed. And her older sister, felt bad for me, but didn't do anything. And it was such an uncomfortable, sad feeling at the end of the day that I wanted to just tell everybody how fake it was, that it wasn't real, and I didn't want to be friends with any of them anymore. I felt like I was in a almost like a bullied kind of position where I had been bullied into embarrassment and hung out to dry. That was my dream. There are so many details in the dream that had nothing to do with me. These are not people I've actually really had in my life for many, many years. This was a scenario dream that I'm supposed to interpret and walk away with. Now, when you think about the deflection and somebody who's walking away horribly embarrassed at this point, think about that. And when you think about the figurehead that was put up and all these other people are pulling the strings behind the scenes, and all of a sudden we haven't heard anything from the figurehead, think about that. And in a big event, kind of like a wedding, where there'd be all these people in attendance, but it's not really a wedding, and it was all very fake, and none of it was real. Think about that. These are all the things that I think this dream may have been about. There is one more element to the dream that is much darker, and it was me personally feeling as if I just wanted to disappear, and I had a choice. I could disappear for good and nobody would ever see me again, or I could tell the entire congregation how fake it was and retaliate on how I was made to feel. And in that moment, I felt like I could be one of two different people. Could I be one or the other? Am I a combination of both? Am I trying to tell you that there are two people now who are caught up in this, and one of which is hiding and retaliating behind the scenes, and the other one is wanting to disappear permanently? Take that for whatever that's worth. I kind of feel that it may be two different people that I was supposed to tell you about. But I could be wrong. I could be interpreting it wrong entirely. But you tell me what you think, because I have a feeling that this dream coming right now is relevant to a lot of things going on. So have fun with that one.